What's up everyone, it's Johnny Chase here and welcome back to the club. Now, when you think Batman games, you obviously go for the big hitters like the NES Batman, the Arkham series, but there are 5 Batman games out there that I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about in general conversation, and I'm gonna talk about them right now. You saw the title of the video, you know what you got into. Now, these are in no particular order, although my number 1 is actually going to be my number 1, so I am kind of cheating with this. But I just want to talk about these games and hope you guys will check them out in the future. So these are 5 Batman games that you really should not sleep on. So Batman Returns, an unofficial Christmas movie at this point. It's funny how people are making Batman Returns a Christmas movie the same way action stars are making Die Hard a Christmas movie. Even though they're technically not about Christmas, they take place at Christmas. By the way, you know, regardless, you got the Bat, the Cat, the Penguin. That was the tagline from the movie. And the Super Nintendo version of the game is actually pretty good, but I feel that's been talked about too much. Not a whole lot of people talk about the NES version. So Konami made a beat-em-up of Batman Returns on the NES in the same style as their TMNT series. And I think it's pretty cool. It's very hard. Obviously, it's one player. I mean, you know, Batman was a solo affair back then in the Tim Burton days. But it's still a lot of fun. It's very, very challenging. And the soundtrack actually really slaps. Like, Konami, I found, did their best work music-wise on the NES and SNES. So if you haven't already tried Batman Returns on the NES, give it a shot. I think you'll like it. But shifting back to the SNES, there's the Adventures of Batman and Robin. Now, I know a lot of people praise the Genesis version for, you know, its graphics and its playstyle. That one, though, it's more of a shooter than it is an action game. So if you wanted more, you know, punchy-kicky platforming in your Batman and Robin game, this is the game for you. Again, this is developed by Konami for the SNES. The graphic style obviously mirrors the Bruce Timm DC animated universe. Lots of musical cues. But this is a hard son of a bitch. I don't think I've ever beaten the first level, which is with the Joker. It's one of those games that I want to go back to and actually, like, attempt to get good at and to play more. But yeah, Adventures of Batman and Robin. If you don't have this in your collection, pick it up. Next up on my list is a game that not a whole lot of people thought would be any good. But it was actually kind of brought up during the revival of not only the Batman movie franchise, but actually kickstart the Batman video game franchise again, and that's Batman Begins. This was a dark time between this and the last Batman movies and video games. I think the last Batman video game before this was Batman Dark Tomorrow on the GameCube, and we all know how that turned out. With this one, it's more of a... It actually will have some mechanics and play styles that will mirror that in the Arkham universe, although with this, it's more of a straightforward, you know, point A to point B style, whereas the Arkham series, it's more of a open world, Metroidvania type feel in 3D. But I mean, like, it's great that they're able to get, like, most, if not of the entire cast of Batman Begins in here. I mean, Christian Bale's in here, Liam Neeson, and it's a really fun time. It's one that you really should take a look. Put your preconceptions of licensed movie tie-ins aside, and it's actually a really good game. And now going back to licenses, we've got Batman the Brave and the Bold on the Wii. Now with this title, this was developed by WayForward, a developer who has created great games like the Shantae series. They were responsible for the DuckTales Remastered, and a bunch of other hidden gems that I will talk about in future videos. But this one is based on the animated series of the same name, which I'll be completely frank, I didn't really get into because it seemed to be more on the campier side, the Adam Westy side, which unfortunately for you boomers and Gen Zers out there was not my Batman. My Batman was Tim Burton and Michael Keaton's Batman, so I'm under the impression of the more darker tone and less the campy 60s style. But this one actually is actually pretty cool. And in this one here, it's a side scroller. 2 players can play with Wiimotes and nunchucks. The voice cast is in here, and it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it's actually, like, the mechanics of it really work well. I haven't played a whole lot of it because my copy of the game, for some reason, wants to lock up my Wii within the first level. I don't know if this is a design flaw or if it's just my version, but I have yet to find another copy locally here to play it. But what I have played and what my wife and I have played of it, it is a ton of fun, and it's one that you really should look into. And finally, the one that nobody wants to talk about, Batman on Game Boy. Click right there. My entire playthrough from my Twitch stream is on there. This is a game that I grew up with, and this is a game that differs very from the NES version, because the NES version, yeah, there's like the cutscenes, but it doesn't feel like it's really based on the movie. This one here, yeah, you can't really say this is based on the movie either, but they have named locations. They have cutscenes from the movie as well that go along with the movie storyline. But I mean, in this one, you know, Batman has a gun. It's a side-scrolling shooter with power-ups, and I mean, okay, yes, if you're in that camp of Bat Should Never Kill, just pretend this is Flashpoint and this is Thomas Wayne. He's got the guns shooting. But I mean, this is one of my all-time favorite Game Boy games. This is, like I said, a sleeper hit. The soundtrack on this for a Game Boy game is absolutely crazy. You should look up the soundtrack on YouTube and give it a listen. And also, this is a hard son of a bitch too to complete. But one of the cool things that this game has that the NES game doesn't have is the Batwing section. So there is actually a shmup in this game that's not in the NES game. Like, it's kind of funny how the NES game doesn't have like any type of driving mode with the Batmobile. You just see the Batmobile in the cutscenes, but this you get the Batwing, and oh man, like I could talk about this game for hours upon hours. But like again, click the I card in the corner there. You'll get my entire playthrough, which I've titled Hidden Gem, because like I said, this is why if I were to rank these, this would be number 1, and why I feel that it's super underrated and you guys should give it a chance. So those are my 5 Batman games that you guys shouldn't sleep on. Did I miss any? Have I been missing out on some? Let me know in the comments below. Like, hit bell, subscribe, YouTube stuff, do it. Can you tell I still don't know how to end a video?